What's good, everybody? It's your brother Mad Black, the most dangerous and the most toxic black man on the internet. The brother who told you not to date that girl from the Middle East, but you did it anyway, and now you're trying to save her life from her crazy parents and stop them from killing her. And I'm black up in your face again with some more pro black commentary. So, a very interesting story I saw coming out of Seattle where a young man, a young black man, is trying to save his girlfriend, who I believe is from Iraq. And he's trying to save her from her parents because her parents had planned to send her back to the Middle East and have her marry an older man. And obviously, she did not want to do that. So she ran away from home and just decided to go back to school. So her parents showed up at school and they tried to kill this girl right there on school grounds, right? And all the kids are crowding around looking at what's going on, and her boyfriend is trying to save her from her parents and stop them from killing her. So I'm going to play a little bit of the news report here, and then I'm going to discuss some things that I noticed about this story that I want to draw your attention to. So let's listen here to the news report from what happened, and we'll get into my commentary as we go along.
The Lacy father and mother are charged with attempted murder, attempted kidnapping, and assault, accused of trying to kill their teen daughter in what the victim described as a possible honor killing. Prosecutors say the Timberline High School student was attacked by her parents outside the school after she tried to escape the family. Her boyfriend stepped in to help during the attack, and police say he was also hurt.
Fox 13's Jennifer Dowling talked to her boyfriend's father, and she has more from Timberline High School.
Victor Barnes says that the attack happened right near this bus stop as the girl was trying to catch a ride in order to escape the abuse that she reported from her family. He says that her dad caught up with her here beneath these trees and started to choke her. They fell to the ground as other students, including his son, tried to pull him off of her.
There's Dad.
Okay, so they're showing clips of the video. I guess someone was there with the phone and they're watching the whole thing. And who they're interviewing is the young boy's father. So the black father is telling you what's going on in this situation. So that's the audio that you're hearing right now.
There's the daughter underneath Dad.
Victor Barnes says this troubling video captured by witnesses and under investigation by Lacy police shows Ihsan Ali choking his teen daughter from behind, her face shoved in the dirt.
That's my son fighting for the girl's life.
Court documents state she reported abuse by both Ihsan and her mother, Zara, saying she ran away to get help from her teachers and staff at Timberline, telling investigators her parents had also planned to forcefully send her to Iraq to marry an older man.
Earlier that day, she was supposed to be flown out the country. She ran to the school because she was afraid.
Barnes said her parents were looking for her, and upon seeing her, the dad rushed out of a vehicle and yelled at her in Arabic. A different student who understood their language told him to leave.
And the kid said something of the nature of, she doesn't want to go back with you. Leave her alone. Dad snapped.
A witness told investigators Ihsan started hitting his daughter and then he punched Barnes' son, who went flying onto the concrete. Then Ihsan started choking his daughter for what the witness estimated was about a minute, while multiple people tried to pry Ihsan off of her.
Her arms go limp. She's no longer moving. He starts to see her eyes just roll back and her arms start flailing. And that's when he sort of sprung into action because he didn't want to see, someone he cared about pass away.
After she was dragged out of the headlock, her mother, Zara, was accused of attacking her.
My son was able to just grab her and just take her away from Mom.
They ran into Timberline for help.
Her mother came rushing to the school, trying to get into school, but, she got stopped by security.
Barnes feels an adult should have escorted her to the bus.
And I'm glad.
Okay, so that's the basics of the incident that happened at the school. Okay, girl is assaulted by both her parents, both her father and her mother, And some of the other students there, and especially her boyfriend, a black boy, tried to stop the incident from happening, tried to stop the father from killing her, basically, because he's, put her in a chokehold and is forcing her head into the ground and is about to kill her, basically, right then and there on the spot. Now, they call it an honor killing. And for those who are not familiar with that, in some of these really archaic Muslim countries, the males, especially the patriarch, feels like he has the right to kill his daughter if she does anything that disrespects him or the family. So this includes if she does not want to marry who he has set up for her to marry. This includes if she gets sexually assaulted by someone else. So if your daughter or your wife is sexually assaulted, you kill your wife in those countries, right? And I've learned all about this because I remember I took a sociology course that focused mainly on this years ago. And I've seen, it's really disturbing. Like I've seen entire documentaries and, looked into, community activists who work against stuff like this, where you have entire outreach programs for young women who have been assaulted by the males in their family for nonsense like this. There are women there who have their faces burned by acid, or I remember a very sad story of a young lady. She was missing part of her hand because her father and her brother tried to chop her head off, and she was blocking it with her hand. So instead of it hitting her neck, it actually chopped her hands off at certain angles, right? So just real sick stuff, right? And, once again, you have this narrative that's always put out there that black men are the only men who abuse their women, the only men who exploit their women. Black men do their women so wrong, right? And I always try to remind people, no, that's not true at all. Okay, there are people out there who abuse their own women and who degrade their own women even worse than what you would suspect a black man does. Black men get flack because some Rudy Poot dudes put black women in music videos with their butt shaking, but you have men out here who kill their women just for things that the woman has no control over. You would think if someone were to sexually assault your daughter or sexually assault your wife, you would want to kill the guy that did the assaulting, right? You wouldn't want to kill your wife or your daughter for doing that. You know what I'm saying? But in their twisted logic, it's the woman's fault. So, that's what I mean as far as there are other people. And this is not me trying to excuse any black males who abuse women. Okay, that's not what this is. But I want to put a dent and take away these narratives that we get put on us and also that we put on each other, where we make it seem as if we just so bad and we're the only ones who do terrible things to our people. I want to dispel all that nonsense. Okay, not excusing the bad things that do happen. I'm just saying let's stop saddling each other with these negative things. Okay, because we all don't act like that. Like in no point in my family or anyone that I ever known done something like this to their spouse or to their child. Okay, and I have Muslims in my family. I have people from the Nation of Islam in my family. They don't treat their children like this. Okay, so in my opinion, I don't even think we can even put this on Muslims in general, because I think this is more of a cultural thing within that Middle Eastern culture, because it happens in a lot of their different places, no matter what religion they are. They could be Muslim, they could be Hindu or whatever, but just in that area and beyond, these people, they treat their women that way. So it's more of like a cultural thing. It's not so much a religious thing, right? So another interesting part is the fact that it was a black boy that had to kind of run in there and save her, and that was her quote unquote boyfriend. Now, in my opinion, that's how all this started, probably. The Iraqi father found out his daughter was messing around with a black boy from America, and that's what set him off. He probably said, okay, you're out here messing around with these N-words. I'm going to send your ass back to Iraq, and you're going to marry this older man to straighten you out, right? So that's probably where he had his mental breakdown. He didn't want his daughter messing around with any black people, right? Even though that from just the short little video I seen, I didn't get a chance to see her face or the father's face. They just had just as much melanin in their skin as the black people did. At first, when I first saw this story, what caught my attention is I thought it was a black man beating up his daughter, but it turned out they're from the Middle East because, like I said, the melanin in their skin is just like ours, right? So this girl probably thought there wasn't that much difference from her dating a man from her country and dating a black man here. She probably thought it was not that big of a deal, but her father knew the difference, right? And he wanted to show her that she's not going to date one of these nasty N-words here in the United States. That's my way of saying it. That's probably what he was thinking in his mind, right? He probably has some other very colorful words for us as well, right? So, I mean, you folks let me know how you feel about this in the comments section, and I want to warn people out there because this is something that I'm trying to get ahead of myself because my daughter goes to a school that is very international. There's a lot of like foreigners that go there, and there's a lot of kids there from like African countries and from India and stuff like that. So like I've noticed, like even my daughter has noticed, there's a difference between her and some of the other black students that go there who are from Africa as far as like how they associate. Like when they were younger, in like the preschool age and in kindergarten, they all kind of were together, but now they're starting to separate. Like my daughter is starting to be more friends with just plain African American or some of the kids there that are half black, half white, because there are some kids like that there like that who are mulattoes, right? So I've noticed my daughter starting to break off with them and not so much hanging out with some of the African kids. Like the African kids are starting to stay more to themselves. You know what I mean? So I've seen that separation already happening as the kids get older. So, I'm trying to head it off and trying to explain to her why a lot of these people see that there's a difference. It has nothing to do with her personally. It has to do with some of how these parents teach their kids and how they view us, right? They have this negative idea of us or this negative stereotype about us, and they don't want their children interacting with us. So, if anyone else out there has the same situation, you can let me know in the comments. But it's definitely something that I've been aware of and something that I'm trying to keep an eye on as time goes on. Anyway, this is Mad Black, and I will be back with my foot on a devil's back.